How's everybody? Hiya, it's Terry from Early Start here again. How are y'all keeping? It's another Friday evening, so I thought I might do another story. And if you'd like to listen, that's great. Turn on your ears. And if you don't want to listen, then just press the red button there. Alright? Yeah, we've gotten around a few different countries over the last few weeks telling stories. And now we're in a country called France. And this story is called The Hunter and the Fox Lady. So we'll start now, okay? So once upon a time, there was a hunter who lived by himself in a hut in a forest. And every day he would go out hunting. And he would go into the forest hunting for small wild animals like rabbits or hares or squirrels or moles or whatever. And he would kill them. And I know this sounds terrible, and he would bring them home and eat them, but that's the way things were back in them days. And also he was a forager, which meant he would like hunt in the undergrowth, looking for wild vegetables or wild fruit or berries or roots, things that you might be able to eat, or herbs and all those kinds of things, yeah. And that's what he would spend his day doing. And in the evening, he would always return home to his hut, hopefully with a bag full of food. So this evening, he's going home, and he's coming towards his hut. And as he approaches the hut, he stops, and he's very suspicious because he looks up to the roof of his house, and on the roof is a chimney, and out of the chimney there's a thin blue vein of smoke coming out. And he thought, I put the fire out this morning. Why is that fire lit again? So he took his bag off his shoulder and laid it on the ground, and he circled around the house carefully, trying to figure out what was going on. And as he circled around the house, you could see no sign of anyone breaking in. You couldn't see any footprints or any kind of movement. He thought, what's this? Very strange. So they came back around the front of his house. So he picked up his bag very quietly, put it on his shoulder, tiptoed towards the door, put his hand out to the handle, pulled the handle down, and opened the door. Quietly, he oils his door. And he walked in, and he was shocked. Now, not shocked in a bad way, shocked in a happy way. For there were very strange things that happened, but not strange nasty things, strange nice things. And he looked around his hut, and he could not believe it. For he was a very untidy person, and his hut was usually very messy, but now it was spotlessly clean and tidy, and everything was in its right place. The floors were swept, the windows were clean, the curtains were ironed and straightened out. Usually he would just leave his clothes in a heap on the floor. They were all picked up, hung up, folded, and put in his wardrobe, and some of his clothes that would have been ripped were actually stitched together again. Couldn't believe it. And he noticed his other pair of boots, which were muddy and dirty, were polished and put under his bed, and his bed was made with flat pillows. It was like, what is going on here? And he went over to the fireplace. The fire was burning away, and above this fire was a hook where he usually kept a pot. He wouldn't have to cook, or he would have cooked his dinner over the fire. And in the pot there was a stew burning, bubbling away, and he smelled it. It smelled lovely. He couldn't believe it. And he turned around and looked at the table, and on the table was a tablecloth all laid out. It was great. And was a plate and a knife and a fork, and there was a jug of beer on the table waiting for him, and an earthenware mug that he could pour his beer into. And he was like, oh my, this, what? But instead of thinking, what's going on, he went, well, what are you going to do? He thought. So what did he do? Well, he filled up his bowl of stew, sat down at the table, ate his dinner, drank a few mugs of beer, delighted with himself. When he was finished, wiped his mouth, which he shouldn't have done, but he did, and wiped his hands. I'm very tired, and I think I'll go to bed now. And he went to bed, in a beautifully made bed, thrilled with himself. So the next morning he woke up, and he thought, right, I think it's time to go hunting again for the day. And he went over to the fire, put the fire out, and he thought, well, I'll tidy up when I come back later. And off he went, out hunting and foraging for the day. When he came home that evening, the same thing happened. He came to his hut. There was a thin vein of smoke coming out of the chimney. Very suspicious. He opened the door quietly, went in. Floors, walls, ceilings, spotlessly clean. Bed made, clothes put away, everything polished to the, like, everything was gleaming. A beautiful bubbling stew over the fire. On the table, tablecloth, spotlessly clean. Jug of beer, earthenware cup, all the stuff he needed, all tidy and clean. And again, he sat down. He had another beautiful meal. Same thing. Tired. I'll go to bed now. I'll tidy up in the morning. Wife's hand on his jumper. Got into bed. Fell asleep. Next morning he woke up, put out the fire, and off hunting. And when he came home on that night, the same thing happened again. Now, you or I, at this stage, would think something very strange going on, and we would try to find out what would happen, or what was going on. Now, it took him until the fourth night to realise what was going on, or to find, he thought, I think I better find out what's going on, I think I better see what's happening. So that day, instead of waiting until the evening to come home, he decided he would come home a bit earlier, alright? So the same thing happened. He came home early, and as he came, approached his hut, he tiptoed very quietly, put his hand out very gently to open the door, and he opened the door of his hut, and opened the door very quietly, and he stepped inside his hut. And there in front of him, with his back turned to him, could not see this person's face, was a figure standing, and he could tell it was a woman, and she had red hair all down her back, and straight away he knew who this person was. It was the Fox Lady. Now I'll explain what the Fox Lady is. A Fox Lady is part fox, part human, and usually when this person is in the forest, they are a fox, and when they come into the world of humans, they change their shape. And her shape was, she was a beautiful woman. And he just didn't know what to do. He didn't open his mouth. He was there looking at the back of the Fox Lady. Now, what does the Fox Lady do? Well, she would be the guardian of the forest. She would mind the forest, yeah. So how would she do that? I suppose it's a bit like a way a gardener looks after his garden. That's what she would do. So she would mind. So when she lived in the forest, she would be a fox. And when she came into the worlds of humans, she turned into a woman. And he was still like staring at her. Now, she could feel somebody staring at her at the back of her head, and she senses, and she turned around and she looked at him, and he looked at her, and she was the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen. Beautiful red hair, gorgeous she was. And she just looked at him and said, "Now," she said, "I will be the woman of this house." And he just nodded, okay. And she said, "Now sit down." So he sat down at the table, and she got him a bowl of stew, and she had set out the jug of beer and the earthenware cup, and then she sat opposite him, and she sat and had her dinner with him. So the two sat opposite each other, eating their dinner and drinking. They were delighted with themselves, and she started to tell him all kinds of stories, and then she sang him some songs, and she even told him a few jokes. Now he, who hadn't spoken to people for a many long time, suddenly realised he had a lot to talk about, and he opened up and he started to tell her all his stories. And they had one of these nights that go on forever. People just telling stories and swapping yarns and singing songs. Great crack. And then, and they got tired and they got later and later. She stood up and said, "Now," she said, "I must leave." And she went to the door and put on her pelt and left. And he went to bed. Now, her pelt, that's like her skin. So when she turns into a human, she removes the fox skin, and she used to hang it on the back of his door when she was in his hut. So this now went on for days and days and weeks. So every day the Fox Lady would come in from the forest. She would take off her pelt, her fox skin, and hang it on the door, and she would settle and sort out his house. He would come home and she would make him his dinner, and then some nights he would actually make her the dinner as well. They switched things around, and they were having a great time. They really enjoyed each other's company, and when the night was over, she would take her pelt, put it on, and leave. Now, things were very happy for 2 or 3 weeks, but there was one thing that was beginning to irritate the hunter. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but foxes, they don't have a very nice smell. They have a bit of an odour. An odour is not a nice smell. Like an odour is, the smell of fish. Some people don't like that smell, or the smell of petrol, or a smell of smelly feet would be a bad odour, or milk that's gone rotten. It's not a very nice smell. Oh, what's that odour? Oh, I don't like that. Kind of like dinner or coffee or food has a nice scent, a nice cake, it's a beautiful scent. Smelly feet, odour. Now, yeah, we used to have, I don't know if you remember this, boys and girls, we used to have foxes in our school. I think we still do. And sometimes you can smell them, and it's not a nice smell, fox. It's, as I say, it's an odour. Now, when she used to leave her pelt hanging on the door, there was that odour was there. And at first, the hunter didn't really notice it, but after a while, he kept smelling the fox pelt on the back of the door, and it started to irritate him. And even though she had cooked lovely meals, and she had fresh flowers in the house, and he could smell the lovely flowers, he could smell the cooking food, he could smell the clean floors, he still got that smell from the scent of the fox pelt on the door, and it really actually started to get on his nerves. So one day, when he came home, he said to her, I wonder, he said, if you don't mind terribly, I wonder if you might, you know the way when you take off your fox pelt, he said, would you mind just leaving it outside? And she said nothing. And that evening, or the night when now they finished eating and talking, she put her pelt on and left. The next night, he came in, and the pelt was still hanging on the door. And the smell was really irritating, but he didn't say anything. And the next night, he still didn't say anything. And the next night, he still didn't say anything. But finally, he said, look at this. He said, look, I'm sick of this now. I've asked you once to do something about that fox pelt. That smell is really getting on my nerves. Can you just please leave it outside the next time you come? And with that, she stopped what she was doing. She picked up the pelt, put it on, and she left. And they say he still waits in the hut for her to come back. Strange story that one, isn't it? And that's where the story ends. Very strange. And he never actually saw the fox lady again. Yeah. I was told that story years ago, and I thought, but where's the end of it? And well, sometimes stories don't have an end. They just continue and continue on. And I think what that story is, maybe it tries to tell us that, the way we're all at home at the moment so long, and that certain things that people in our families do might get on our nerves. Yeah, well, I know. Oh, yeah. Apparently, in my house, I leave all the doors open. Yeah, in the kitchen, I leave all the cupboard doors open, and people give out to me. And if I'm looking for something, I'll pull out a drawer, and I'll leave that one open. Then I'll pull out another drawer, and I'll leave that one open, and I'll pull out another drawer, and then I'll open this door, and I leave them all open. And I never close them. I never knew. I didn't know that about me. I always thought I was perfect. Turns out I'm not. Anyhow, but that's the way things are. There are things about people that get on our nerves. But for every one thing that really annoys us about other people, there must be 100 things about them that we love, okay? That we love. So we must remember that, And if people get on our nerves, remember all the times they make us happy, all the times they cheer us up. Don't just think of the one time that they made you feel, okay? Yeah. And the poor hunter, that fox lady, she looked after him, and the one thing that annoyed him, he let that get in the way, and he never saw her again. Yeah, strange story, that one. But I always liked that story. Anyhow, so listen, I hope you enjoyed that, okay? And just remember that, the things we do, sometimes people annoy us, but sometimes we annoy other people. So we all have to try and, live together and look after each other as best we can, okay? Now, so I'm finished that. So I'll tell you what, I might come back to you next week with another one, alright? And hope you all look after yourself. Keep your hands clean, keep your fingers away from your eyes, your nose and your mouth. And just stay back from people who still don't live in our houses for the moment. And remember, we're getting back to normal very slowly. So look after each other, and I'll talk to you all soon, okay? Goodbye.